Hey guys, I'm Becky and welcome back to my channel. So today with Enduring Finances, we're just going to be taking a look back on 2021 and what is ahead for 2022 for us. So I'm not going to lie, I am really excited to be moving out of 2021 and to be heading into 2022. As with all things in life, 2021 has been full of a lot of ups and downs and bounds. So I started off the year in a very, very bad place, both mentally, emotionally, and physically. The first few months of 2021 felt like I was just pulling myself through quicksand and there was no end in sight. And I was in a really, really bad place. And I think it showed to a lot of people. I was surprised when someone that I had known that entire time finally made the comment towards the middle of summer that she saw my first real smile. So I was in a pretty bad space. But then I decided to take control of the aspects of my life that I actually could change. And I started laying down the tracks and the foundation to pull myself out of that quicksand and out of that hole. I weighed the pros and the cons, and I took a really big leap of faith, and then during the end of 2021 I actually quit my job, my corporate day job, and started working for myself full-time. Since then, I've been splitting my time between this finance blog and my photography business, and it's nice to see that the hard work and the risks that I've taken are starting to pay off. I earned just over $650 from selling my prints, 2022 calendar, and stock photography online with my photography business. Unfortunately, that did come with just over $1,000 in expenses for running the website, shipping, producing the products, and investing in the future, and as well as marketing. By the end of 2021, I was averaging a sale a week for that last quarter for the last 3 months. And if that continues into 2022, I will be looking just fine with that business. 2021 was primarily a foundation building year for me. I was working on setting down the bricks and the stones that would be the placeholder for my business moving forward. I honestly didn't expect for the photography business to do as well as it did. The first of the year was very, very slow. I didn't see my first sale for over a month and a half, and then it took another month before I saw another sale. So to see it move from once almost every 2 months to once a week is a huge improvement. I earned my first and then my second 5-star reviews on Etsy, and had my first really awkward interaction with someone who wanted to exchange services for a specific photograph that they wanted me to take and sell them for the services. It's not all sunshine and rainbows as a female who works in the online world, or anybody that works in the online world, but specifically females get all targeted a lot with messages like these and requests like these from typically older gentlemen that are looking for something. But I will say that the positive interactions that I've had really do outweigh the few negative ones that I've had, and I think it's really important to keep that in your mindset, that if you're really passionate about what you're doing, it doesn't really matter what anybody else says, and to not take it personally, because most of the time it's not going to be personally directed towards you, it's just a generic thing. One of my highlights from 2021 was actually talking to a gentleman who was in Amsterdam, and he was there for a couple days, and this was his last day there, and he wasn't exactly sure what he wanted to spend his time with, and he had seen the post that I wrote about visiting Amsterdam on my photography site, and he reached out and asked for some tips and advice for what he could do for the last day. So we ended up chatting back and forth for a little while until we kind of finalized plans on what he was going to do for his last day there. I love getting to see people learn and grow. I've been able to talk offline with a couple of people about setting different goals, about managing their finances and improving that process, and finding ways to improve certain aspects of their small businesses with marketing and other aspects. And just from that, it gives me so much motivation to keep chugging along and keep pushing out really good, honest, quality content that I think is going to do a lot of good for a long time in the future. So my top 3 best performing posts for finance in 2021 were how I made $1,000 charging Lime scooters, food storage, and it's importance with supply chain shortages, and my post about what a TSP or a thrift savings plan is. And then my top 3 photography posts for 2021 were actually snorkeling on Hamanama Bay on Oahu, Hawaii, visiting Plivet Lakes National Park in Croatia, and visiting the Bamberg Cathedral and the city in Bavaria, Germany. I think one of my biggest struggles that I'm facing right now and coming into the beginning of 2022 is staying in the moment and staying on top of my short-term commitments and deadlines that I've set for myself. And I think Jack Welch's quote sums it up perfectly. You've got to eat while you dream. You've got to deliver on short-range commitments while you develop a long-range strategy and vision and implement it. If I'm going to be successful in the future and have the work-life balance that I want, I really need to focus on getting my weekly tasks done and preparing my mid-range for the next month, or 2 months, or 3 months, prepared as much as I can. Basically, I need to get more disciplined with what I'm doing day to day and week by week, and become a little bit more productive, because I'm lagging on that a little bit. My thought process for both of these avenues is to essentially front load my work, where I'm doing most of the research and writing and development in the winter months when there's not a lot of ability to go and explore new places, or I don't really want to go out when it's 10 degrees outside and it's snowing and raining. So the idea is to front load that, do that during the winter months, and then during the spring, summer, and fall, have more time to be able to spend time with family, go traveling, go camping, do more photography in nature outside, which is the ultimate goal on that, to kind of have heavy workload in the winter as far as computer and writing, and then in the summer and spring and fall, have more time outdoors and in nature doing things that I really, really like. So in order to accomplish that, I really need to tighten up my workflow, my shot group with what I'm doing, and make sure that I'm getting all of my deadlines met, and I'm planning ahead and preparing things now so that can happen this summer. So moving on to my stock market portfolio for the month of December. We all know that my goal is for the stock portfolio to function as a long-term dividend growth account. My diversification strategy is broken down into different sectors and areas like this. I ended the year with almost $31,000 in my portfolio and a little bit over $300 left in my lending club account. December was another high dividend month for me. We are moving steadily closer to hitting that $100 a month threshold with dividends. I earned dividends from 30 different companies in December, with my highest earnings being ticker symbol SO, ticker symbol EFC, and ticker symbol AVGO. No big surprise there. We are seeing EFC coming in every single month with one of my highest dividend returns to date. All in all, I made $93.90 from dividends in December. So now let's go ahead and take a look back on all of 2021 with my investments and finances. So with this last year, I was not focusing on adding money into my stock portfolio at all. I was working on maxing out my 403b retirement plan with my employer, and if I wouldn't have quit by the end of the year, I would have ended up maxing that out this year. So I only ended up adding a couple $100 into my stock portfolio, and that's just from the earnings that I made from Lime, which I eventually stopped doing because I quit my job and I needed those earnings to pay my mortgage. So I don't anticipate that 2022 is going to be a big increase in the amount I'm adding to that, because I'm just starting out this business. It's still going to be slow getting that up and going for the next year or so, and I'm not going to have a lot of money that I am able to invest and risk right now. In 2021, I made over $930 in dividends total, very close to $1,000, and I made one single day trade right at the end of the year on December 28th, where I traded 20 shares of ticker symbol CPOP. Bought them at $2.37 a share, and then quickly sold them for $2.50 a share, making a big profit of $2.57 with 3 cents in fees. which is about 5.42% of a return, which is not too shabby at all, seeing as how this trade was made with less than $50. So all in all, I brought home over $1,000 this year in passive income between my dividends and my returns from Lending Club, plus the $2.50 from my trading. I saw my total stock portfolio return just under 22% between the dividends and the individual market growth of my stocks, which is my best year that I have ever had, which I'm very excited about. My best months out of all the years were December, where we made over 7% return just in December alone, and then March, where it was almost, I think it was close to 7, it was 6 something percent. So very good months there, very happy about the return, plus the dividends and the market growth combined. Starting out 2022, I have just under $31,000 invested in my long-term stocks and just over $300 invested in my Lending Club. With a reasonable expected return of 5 to 6% on my stock portfolio, I should see that increase to around $32,500 next year. And I estimate that I'm going to earn about $1,200 in dividends for the total of 2022. I should start earning $100 a month in dividends towards the end of 2022, and that will just keep increasing as the years come by. With Lending Club, my goal is ultimately not to lose any more money. While I've made back the initial investment that I made into it from the beginning, and a little bit more, I'm not seeing a lot of return at this point in time. I barely made any return this year aside from the principal that I got back. So I'm not expecting to see a big return in 2022 or any of the years in the future. My goal is to just not lose any more money. And to end out the year, I recalculated my net worth. If you don't do this, I highly recommend that you calculate it at least once a year or twice a year so that you have a picture of how you're doing and how you're improving year over year. We know that a net worth is just very simple. It is your assets minus all of your liabilities. So what you own outright versus what you owe. Plain and simple. In 2021, I saw a huge jump from under $100,000 net worth to just over $180,000 net worth. Most of that is because I was dumping more than a third of my paychecks into my retirement fund with my company, and we saw a huge jump in the market this year. So both of those combined together made for a very good increase in my net worth. So let's get into the goals that I've set for 2022. I briefly mentioned them before, but we know that one of my top goals for this next year is to lose weight. I plan on losing another 65 pounds this year. We're down about 16.5 pounds at the start of the year, and I ultimately want to get to about 135 pounds, which should take me all the way till September to get there. I'm trying to lose about 1.5 pounds a week and eating about about 1,300 calories a day. Another goal that falls in with that is getting more into the mountains. I want to do at least a 10-mile backpacking trip this summer and spend time camping and hiking and exploring in the local area. I don't plan on doing any international traveling this year. And then of course my last big goal that I've set is to spend time working specifically on images for stock photography alone, so that I am kind of improving my creative image side, which is something that I struggle like thinking outside of the box with photos, and I'm also using my technical skills with the camera. And just to recap on my 3 super long-term goals, the first one is to pay off my mortgage 100% and be completely debt-free. The only debt that I still have to this day is my mortgage, and I owe just about $196,000 on that, so we're about 10 or 11% of the way there. My second super long-term goal is to complete a triathlon and a winter triathlon, which neither one of those are going to happen in 2022, but I'm hoping maybe 2023 or 2024 I will complete both of those. And my last long-term goal is to continue to build my dividend portfolio until it is generating $2,000 a month in dividends, or about $600,000 in total. We're about 5% of the way there as far as reaching that goal. So Hopefully 2022 is going to be a wonderful year for you and for me. I have really high expectations of where progress is going to be made and what I'm going to accomplish, and I believe that you can accomplish your goals too, as long as you have a plan and you stick with it for this entire year. So good luck to you, good luck to me, and I will see you next time, guys.